have reached Rad Steele's Awesome Toy Collectors Review. I'm your man, Rad Steele. And today I have a very special review because last Friday I got a little knock on the door and the FedEx guy left me a little package. Now this package is from Hasbro Pulse. So my Black Zarak is finally here. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up this box to kind of experience it firsthand with you guys as I unbox my Black Zarak. And here he is from Transformer Legacy. My first Legacy figure, Black Zarak. Transformers Legacy Black Zarak. But before I get to the actual review, I just want to go over some of the beautiful details on the packaging. Up front here you have like a blueprint design of Black Zarak that kind of floats over to the side of the box, the Decepticon symbol. Then on the top of the box you have Transformers Legacy. Then on this side of the box you really don't have much, and same for the back of the box. But I'm going to flip this back over, and I'll show you the bottom of the box right here. It has a sticker label that says Black Zarak. Next, I'm going to the unboxing. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this label right down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and unbox Black Zarak. And as you can see right here, you have a nice little blueprint of the head design and the spear. Turn the box over this way so you guys can see how Zarak is actually packaged. You got the instructions up front here, and this is packaged very similar to Scorpionox. Put that off to the side. I'm guessing this is where his head is, and there's a couple of his probably shield pieces and his ramp pieces over here. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off some of his tie wraps, just so you guys can see how he is packaged. These tie wraps are not as bad as some of the other past Titan class Transformers. Namely, I'm going to stand him up actually, like this. You can still see him. But like when I unboxed Metroplex, that was a nightmare. I mean, even Triptychon had a few of these tie wraps. I'm going to cut all these off. And I know these paper tie wraps, it makes it much easier just to cut them right out. I think there's one more right here. I want to be careful not to scratch Black Zarak at all. And I do own a Generation 1 version of Black Zarak, and when I purchased him as an adult collector, so I got him kind of after the original run, because I did get my Grand Maximus while I was in Japan, and when I received my original Black Zarak, I was a little disappointed because the headmaster for the Black Zarak was broken, and I did not know about the gold plastic syndrome, and I guess I was a victim of that. And I was thinking about, once I get my collection back out here again, I was gonna go ahead and glue that piece back on, because it's just a little peg holding his arm together, but now I'm afraid the whole thing's gonna crumble. But you got the tail piece for Black Zarak up here, and you got all these pieces. Probably for his spear, looks like. And I know I caught this kind of late when I was opening up my Scorpionox, but this has something in it too. Unbox that. Cut that up right up here. You guys can see what I'm doing. Really happy that I got this figure in. I ordered this figure sometime last year, and it kept on getting delayed because of the whole supply chain shortage thing. More parts of the spear. And that was Zarak's, Black Zarak's main weapon was the spear. Yeah, one of his shoulder cannons. You're not guessing over here. You have this other shoulder cannon. And it is molded out of a mustard yellow, not so much gold. I mean, looks like his foot piece here is kind of gold. Oh wait, there's more pieces. The Zarak shield. Okay, I think that's it for that. And I'm guessing this small box here is Zarak's head. And from what I can recall from my original Black Zarak, compared to Scorponok's, Scorponok's had more of a helmet that went over the headmaster head. Well, the original Zarak was kind of like the molded helmet that went right over the entire headmaster piece, so it didn't even have to be a headmaster. It just looks like this one. Oh, that's kind of weird. They kind of designed, he does actually have a transformation, he's not just a helmet. Because the old Zarak would just be a piece that flipped right over the original headmaster head, but you put that on top of Zarak's head and it will just flip over. But this is an actual transforming headmaster. I want to go ahead and get all this organized and I'll move on to the next part of the review. Transformers Generation Selects Legacy Titan Class Black Zarak. Black Zarak's pre-orders went up on March 30th, 2021, and he finally shipped on February 17th, 2022. I received mine on February 18th, 2022. Takara Tomy released their version on March 26th, 2022. He is sold at a suggested retail price of $169.99, and he's available at either Hasbro Pulse or other select online retailers. Black Zarak is a Super God Master Force inspired figure that converts to his base mode in 39 steps, and he also converts into his Scorpion mode in 33 steps. His accessories include his classic Titan Spear, 2 shoulder cannons, a shield, a deluxe class headmaster, a Titan Master, and instructions. Black Zarak stands tall at 21 inches and is meant for fans ages 15 and up. Now I'm going to go ahead and transform Black Zarak. Black Zarak has 3 modes of transformation, so I'm going to go ahead and transform his head first. And you do that by simply removing the head. The head is held on by like a swivel mount joint right here on the top here, which is really cool, because the original Generation 1 counterpart was mounted on by his actual Titan Master head. So you just pop that right off. Now I'm going to go ahead and transform Black Zarak's head into his Headmaster mode. The first step I want you to take these 2 side panels right here and right here, pop them out slightly like this. I'm going to do it to the other side, pop that out. There's his front piece right here, right above his helmet. Go and you pop that forward and out. You're going to pull this little visor out. I couldn't pull the visor out with any help, so I had to get a pair of tweezers and pop it out like that. Then you go ahead, you bring that whole front piece down like that. Then you go ahead and take the side panels and you push it back in again, like that. Next step they want you to do is they want you to go ahead and flip the whole figure over. It's a chest piece right here. You just kind of like untab it right here. And you bring the legs out slightly. See the position like that. Next up, they want you to take these antennas, bring them back so they're kind of out of the way. Bring that back, out of the way. Then you bring the rest of the legs all the way down like this. Then next up, they want you to do is there's little shoulders right here. They want you to pull those out and up like that. Do that to the other side. Kind of pull it up like that. Then they want you to take the forearm pieces right here and untab them from the shoulder. Bring them down. Do that to the other side. Untab that and bring it out slightly like that. Then there's these fists. Just bring the fist out a little bit like that. Want to do that to the other side. Fist right here. Bring that all the way down like that. Then you go ahead and you take this chest piece right here. You bring it all the way down. Then there are these little black things on his forearms. They want you to bring those straight down like that. And these things are very fragile, so you want to be very careful because they pop off very easily. I'm not sure if it's just my version or if it's all of them, but they do not stay on very easily. Not like the Earthrise Scorponok version. Then you go ahead and you take the antennas and you bring them back down again, so they're kind of like little hooks at the end of the arms. And now you have Black Zarak in his Headmaster mode. But you can also take this transformation a step forward by pulling off his head, that head. And you can also transform his head into a smaller Titan Master. And it's really cool because the Titan Master head has the eye patch over, so it shows you the damage that he occurred after Headmasters. You see a little chest damage right here too, which is really, really cool. And you transform the Titan Master by taking the legs right here, let's bring them down slightly like that. And now you have his Titan Master. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and transform Black Zarak into his Scorpion mode. But the first thing you always want to do is remove all the weapons. So I'm gonna go ahead and take his Titan Spear. I'll put it off to the side. And the first thing they want you to do is go ahead and remove the head. And you just pop it off, it's mounted on a little shoulder or a little swivel joint right here. You want to be careful not to pop off the shoulder collar. I'm gonna go ahead and put that off to the side also. You take his shoulder cannons off. Then on the bottom here, you have a couple of leg shields right here. You just pull those right off too. Side, you pull that off. Then the first step they want you to go ahead and do, let's go and raise the arms all the way up. They're on a nice ratchet joint because these pieces are pretty hefty, and if they're on a regular joint, they probably come loose very fast, and due to the weight of these arms, they probably would not stay up. And you bring the arms up like that. Then the next step they want you to go ahead and do, they want you to go ahead and take it at the pelvis right here. They want you to go ahead and rotate it all the way around like that. And mine's a little stiff still because it came right out of the package right before I decided to do this review. Then what they want to do is take this backpack right here and untab it right there, and there's a little tab right here and a little hole right here. They want you to go ahead and push that right in like that. Then the next step right here in his back, you have all of his scorpion legs. They want you to go ahead and bring those all the way out like that. Go ahead and do that to the other side. Bring them all up like that. Then there's a little gold panel right here. They want you to go ahead and just flip that down like that. And finally, they want you to go ahead and they want you to lay down Black Zarak. This. Now for the next step, they want you to go ahead and take the legs, slightly bend them. Then on the top right here, there's two gold panels, just bring them down. Then you go ahead and there's black panels on each side. You just pop those up. You bring them to the middle, right here. Take the toes, you bring the toes back like this. The other toe back like this. You bring it back, the panels back down, but don't tab the black panels down yet, kind of leave them loose. You bend it further like that. And you take these toe pieces, you push them down like that. Then you go ahead and you fold everything back down. Now you can take the black panels and tab them in inside right here. Do it to the other side. Then the next step they want you to do is they want you to go ahead and rotate them around. And right here, there's this panel. They want you to just fold it into like a little L. Yeah. Then they want you to go ahead and take this panel right here at the end of the tail and fold it in like that. Then over here, you'll see there's two tabs right here on the end of the tail. You'll see two holes right here. And while still maintaining the L shape, they want you to go ahead and tab everything in like that. On both sides. Let's see if we can get it on this side also. Still, like I said, fresh out of the box, so it's kind of still a little tight. Now you go ahead and you take the tail piece right here, you flip it out slightly like that. Then inside that piece, there's another piece. You flip that out. You take that piece, and there's another piece, and you flip that out, kind of like an accordion. You get a whole piece, and you flip it forward like that. So it should form sort of a scorpion tail. Then next you want to go ahead and rearm your your Black Zarak. So first you take your shoulder cannons, you plug those right up here in front, shoulders again, then to the other side. Then over here, you grab his two leg shields right here. There's two little pegs on each one of these shields. There's two holes right here. Just go ahead and you plug that in right there. Turn that over. Said two pegs right here, two holes right here. Just plug that right in. Then on the back of the tail again, you grab the shield. There's two pegs right here. And on the very bottom, there's two holes right here. Go ahead and just plug that in. This is where his shield's stored at. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and transform Black Zarak's head into his Scorpion mode. But the first thing I prefer to do is remove his Titan Master. And I want to do that because I want him to be able to pilot the Scorpion in the Scorpion mode. So I'm gonna put the Titan Master off to the side. First thing they want you to do is take the two side panels again and pop them out. Like that, and like that. Then what they want you to go ahead and do is take the front panel right here, tilt it forward, and out like that. And again, I cannot get this visor off with my own hands, so I have to bring out my tweezers again. And without damaging them too much, pop that out. Then what they want you to go ahead and do is they want you to take the whole shield right here and bring it down. Then take the two side panels, put them out like that. That's his head in the Scorpion mode. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take Zarak's head and put it back onto his body. So I'm gonna go and mount it back on. And now you have Black Zarak in his Scorpion mode. Unfortunately, he's huge. I can't really put him on my rotating table and rotate him around. So I'm gonna do my best to kind of show you guys what he looks like from all angles. I mean, this figure is massive. He's a great figure. Really, really cool. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take my Titan Master here, and I'm gonna go ahead and have him pilot Black Zarak in his Scorpion mode. And in order to do that, you need to untab these black panels on the side here. Then you gotta bring these legs up slightly. Then you go ahead and take this cockpit right here, this panel on his chest, and you flip that up. Then I'm gonna go ahead and turn this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Right in here, there's a little seat right here. Put him in a seated position. He pegs right in, right here, so he's able to sit right in the cockpit position. You go ahead and shut the door here. And now you have Black Zarak in his full Scorpion mode being piloted by his Titan Master. Also, there's a way to store his Titan Spear on Black Zarak. Take the Titan Spear, you can move the top part right here, so you got this. And right here, at the top of his Scorpion tail, there's a little peg hole right here. There's a peg right here. And you can stick that right up there to make his stinger look more menacing. Then you take that spear part, and you break it in half. And you're able to store the other spear right here. Now I was always wondering why these spears had little pegs right here. Now I understand why. It's just for the storage. You go in on the other side here. On the other side here, you do the same thing. You take the other spear, you stick it right here. And that's an optional thing. You don't have to. I'm not big on having a weapon sword on my figures. But I mean, that's the feature that the instructions give you, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I do dig the Titan Spear tip going on top of the tail. It makes Black Zarak look a lot more menacing. Next, I'll go ahead and transform Black Zarak from his Scorpion mode into his base mode. First thing you want to do is remove the head. You want to make sure you don't pop off that collar on the bottom again, which I did. So I'm going to go peg it back in. You go ahead and move his two shoulder cannons. Put those off to the side. Do the same with the leg shields. Pull those off. back of his tail, you have his shield. Then they want you to go ahead and they want you to take the scorpion legs and flatten them all out. Like that. To the other side right here. The scorpion legs. Flatten them all out like that. Then the next thing they want you to do, they want you to take the scorpion tail and kind of flip it all back like that. Then they want you to go ahead and untab the tail and bring this gold ramp and bring it all the way back like that. Then they want you to go ahead and untab the two black panels on the side. There and there. Then you take the leg, you flip it all the way up like that. Go ahead and do that to the other side. The next step they want you to do is they want you to go ahead and open up the legs like that and like that. Then they want you to take these two gold panels right here and fold them up like that. Okay, now it's the tricky part, because right here at the thigh he turns. They actually want you to take the hip, right at the hip they want you to turn it down. These are all ratchet joints, so you gotta put a lot of force behind each turn and ratchet. Then the next thing they want you to do, they want you to push everything down, like that. Now at that joint right here, the thigh, they want you to turn it up, like that. Do that same thing to the other side. And that's also a ratchet joint, so there's no fear of it coming loose. Then they want you to bring everything down like that. To the other side. And now once again they want you to bring these gold panels down. Slightly turn them so you guys can see what I'm doing right here. Okay, next they want you to go ahead and take these panels right here, flip them outward like that. I'm going to do it to the other side. And they want you to go ahead and fold the black panels up like that. Then bring the gold panels down. And they should be like this. I know mine's not really at ground level yet because this platform's not big enough for this figure, so it's gonna flap down a little bit. So you guys gotta forgive me for a second. Then on the end of each one of these leg pieces, there's a ramp. And they want you to go ahead and bring these ramps. If I can get it on tab, there we go. Bring these ramps all the way down. So I'll go ahead and do that to the other side too. Like I said, this figure is so massive that it's hard to get him in full frame unless I have the camera halfway across the room. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my best to get everything on camera. So take that ramp, came out like that, bring it out like that. But next, you take the tail part right here, and it should peg right in that front part right here. There's a little tab and a little hole right here. Next, and this will probably help with getting everything in the frame now, you want to bring the shoulders up. And again, that's on a ratchet joint. And they want you to bring the claws all the way in. Right now. So I can get everything in full frame. There we go. Next, they want me to get the fingertips all the way up, which I already have them in position. There we go. Then they want me to go ahead and rotate everything around like that. To the other side. Everything like that. And for the next part of the transformation, they want you to go ahead and grab the two shoulder cannons. And then you also grab the two leg shields. What I like to do is have the longer part in the center so you get the taper end on the outsides. Take the leg shield, you have two peg holes right here. Each one of the cannons, you have portholes right here. Just go and plug both those in. And what I like to do is I like to take the, like I said, the longer part and put it towards the center. And you go and you plug it into one of the toppers. Some peg holes right here, and they should go right in like that. So I'm going to go and do that to the other side. The leg shield and the cannon, you plug them into each other. There's two peg holes right here, two pegs right here. You go ahead and just plug them right in. There's tons of peg holes, or pegs and peg holes everywhere on this figure. Then next you go ahead and you grab this piece right here, the cockpit or the chest cover. You flip it up. Grab the Zarak shield. Two pegs right here, two holes right here. You go ahead, plug them right in. Next, you go ahead and you take that Titan spear. Just break it in half right there. You go ahead and with the peg right here and the porthole right here on the side, you just plug those back in. Do that to the other side. And now you have Black Zarak in his full base mode. And I have to say, this is a pretty cool figure. Let me pull out the little Titan Master to show you his scale comparison. And there's peg holes all over, so I'm gonna plug them right here in these two peg holes up front. Because he has two little holes in the bottom of the feet, and there's two pegs right here. And that just shows you how massive Black Zarak is, and that's why I cannot do a side-by-side comparison with Zarak in his base mode with Earthrise Scorponok, because there's just no space for it, because Black Zarak actually takes my whole platform up right here. There is an additional transformation that is unofficial and not documented in the instruction, and it's a transformation that I am coming up with on the fly, and it was featured on the very last episode of the Japanese series from 1988, Transformers Super God Master Force. And it's where Black Zarak was battling against God Jedi, and he converts into a double-headed dragon, the Daikatsu mode. And I'm gonna go ahead and try that transformation right now. And the first step you wanna do is remove the head and the collar, both. Put that off to the side. And I'll go ahead and remove his shoulder cannons. It's a very simple transformation. So next I'm gonna go ahead and take Black Zarak and flip him over so you guys can see what I'm doing. There's usually a trapdoor right here. I had that pushed in for some reason. But you push in that trapdoor, you take all the scorpion legs, you tuck them into his back, like that. Then you go ahead, you take the arms, you kind of turn them like that, then you bend them down, like that. Bend them down like that, and now you have his Daikatsu mode. I mean, it's not perfect, I mean, it's close, the arms aren't very close together, you can't really move the arms up like that, but you do have his Daikatsu mode, and you have his tail down here, so he is like kind of a dragon of sorts. But that's the unofficial transformation. Now that I have Black Zarak in his Headmaster mode and on my display table, so I want to go over some of his features. And as you can see on his chest, he's got that battle damage and an eye patch that occurred after Headmasters. At the end of Headmasters, Fort Maximus destroyed Zarak's body and his head got away, but it was badly damaged. I'm going to go and rotate him around so you guys see what he looks like from all angles. You'll see that they're really nicely done figure, nice sculpt. They did a really good job. Besides the part I was talking about earlier during his transformation, where the black panels kept on popping off, but I did not have that problem with my Scorponok's version of from Earthrise, so I do believe it might be just my version of Black Zarak. Speaking of Scorponok's from Earthrise, I do have one on hand to do a side-by-side comparison. So I'm gonna move over Black Zarak and bring in Zarak. You'll see that Black Zarak is a retool of Earthrise Scorponok's, and Zarak is actually the name of the head of the Headmaster version of Scorponok's. And as you can see, they have a lot of shared parts like the arms, the thighs, and the front of the legs, the fist. The head is a slightly retool, you'll see the eye patch, and of course the chest is a slight retool. But other than that, everything was retooled, such as the shoulder panels right here to host the antennas. And also the back of the legs and this piece right here, the backpack, comprises most of the front part of the helmet that you see and Black Zarak. So that's the major retooling done between these two figures. But other than that, they're very similar. The transformations are almost identical. Go ahead, move where Zarak. I pre-ordered this figure almost a year ago, and I've been eagerly anticipating receiving this item for a very long time. This toy is the first time I've actually been checking my mailbox, my email, anything to see when this figure was finally gonna arrive at my doorstep. And I'm finally glad he did. He is well worth the price, well worth the wait. I love his color scheme. I mean, the black, gold, and red just really pops. I mean, I do love my Earthrise Titan class Scorponok, which I have on hand. I want to do a side-by-side comparison anyways. Unfortunately, I can't get them on my rotating table because these figures are just massive. But, I mean, come on. Just seeing these two guys stand next to each other. I mean, Scorponok with his Master Shield. Black Zarak with his Titan Spear. I mean, just having these two figures in my collection, after all these years and being the G1 collector, and I have both these figures in my G1 collection, I mean, these figures, this whole series is great. I'm glad they're starting out Legacy with Black Zarak, because that's going to tell me right there that Legacy is going to follow in the footsteps of the War for Cybertron trilogy. I'm going to go ahead and move Scorponok off to the side. And you could still find this figure online. I did check earlier on today, and I did see that he is still available on Hasbro Pulse. I'm not sure about the other online retailers, but I do believe that they're also shipping because now they're seeing that they're all in stock. But if you guys found any of the information valuable in this review, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. Thank you for watching Steele's Awesome Toy Collectors Review. I'll check you guys out next time.